Lord of the Chords has 2 to 4 musicians playing cards in a race to collect 3 key signatures. Shuffle the key signature tiles into a stack. Players choose an instrument tile and take 1 accidental token. Make the river. Shuffle the note cards, put 3 out in a row, then repeat with the action cards. Instruments have unique abilities, solos, to use during gameplay. Gameplay is made up of 2 phases. In the draw phase, choose any 3 cards from the river. You cannot draft if you've more than 10 cards in your hand. Don't refill the river until the end of the draw phase. Note cards look complicated, but you just need to know the pitch, C, F sharp, and so on in the top left, and the time value, half, eighth, and so on in the bottom left. And harmonic equivalents are also in the top left. For example, D sharp is the same as E flat. Before I explain action cards, let's see why you'll want note cards. During the play phase, you'll have 3 moves. Spend 2 moves to draw another card from the river. Spend 1 move to play a note card, play an action card, move a note from one chord to another, or trade note cards for accidental tokens. The goal is to complete chords. The key signature shows you the notes in diatonic triad. Using C major, you could play a D, F, and A for a minor chord, or G, B, and D for a dominant. The first player to complete a chord claims its key signature tile. Place a tonality indicator pick on top, then choose the new key signature tile. All off-key notes in play are lost. In other words, if you have an incomplete chord in front of you, discard notes not shown in the new key signature. You can prevent this with accidental tokens. These double-sided tokens add or cancel a sharp or flat. If a card already has a token, you may discard the token or card depending on what best fits your new strategy. To gain additional accidental tokens during the game, trade in a dotted quarter note or the equivalent time value. In the play phase, moving note cards from one chord to another only applies to incomplete chords. Some action cards help you by letting you manipulate decks, draw or play additional cards, act in the place of a note card, and so on. Some action cards hurt opponents by letting you steal their chords, cancel their solos, force them to lose movement actions, and so on. There are other things such as surprise cards and octave chords, but this gives you a general idea of how the game works. Draft and play cards, and try to complete chords to gain 3 key signature tiles before anyone else. That's Lord of the Chords. Lord of the Chords' central area is average, but you'll need space for the components, and player areas grow large. Stick to dining tables. Including setup and takedown, our games average around 45 minutes. There's barely any math, but there's a lot of reading and reacting. You can play without any music theory knowledge, but it helps a lot. Gameplay is otherwise simple enough that 9 or 10-year-olds should be fine. In our 4th game of Lord of the Chords, I quickly completed 2 chords. A bunch of rest came out, and because Dad was immune due to his solo, I kept Mom, and occasionally Grandma, from doing much. Dad stole one of my chords with a 7th major steal while I was focused on Mom. Grandma made one of hers immune to steals, which was a bit disappointing. On the last turn, I took one of Mom's completed chords. In the end, Dad won, I was 2nd, and Grandma, despite knowing absolutely nothing about music theory, finished 3rd. I love Lord of the Chords' action cards. They're thematic, clever, and so mean. If you don't like hurting other players in your games, take those cards out because there are plenty of gentler action cards. These are packed with puns. Music lovers will have a good laugh at some of them. The graphic design makes understanding note cards and key signature tiles a snap. Action cards are busy, but the ability text can still be read. The information on the tonality picks and accidental tokens can be quickly seen even across the table. The game includes variants, from a simpler game for newer gamers to a quick or Allegro game. Neat! There are also mini expansions that add more cards to the game, including a new card type. The full game sounds significantly more complicated than it actually is. The excellent reference card helps. The time is perfect too, because it would probably feel too random and nasty if it went an hour or more. The rulebook is fine, but it could be cleaned up. It also expects you to know a surprising amount of music theory to start, understanding sharps and flats, knowing a quarter note versus a dotted quarter note, and so on. Someone with zero music knowledge would struggle learning from the book. They'd be fine learning from somebody else, though. Lord of the Chords is not a slow, strategic experience. It is mean, quick, and fun. Much of the entertainment comes from the theme and action cards, in that it doesn't overstay its welcome. The designers wanted this to be educational, and it totally is. After a few games, you'll be able to add up notes to make dotted quarters, know how to add sevenths or octaves, and more. We have an awesome music teacher at school, and I also take lessons. This game is awesome for helping me strengthen what I've learned. Musicians who like board games should absolutely check this out. Board game fans without any interest in music might enjoy it less, depending on how much player interaction and strategy they usually prefer.